This video is dedicated to Linda. Hi, Cindy here, Do Dare to Be Different. I'm going to show you how to do this bordered mini quilt mug rug. Okay, I'm going to do the mug rug to this one, but the steps to make the mug rug are the same as the mini quilt, excluding the mug rug, of course, doesn't have a hanger tab. Okay, so I pre-cut all my fabric. I have my stabilizer, or my batting, which is 4 3/4 or 4.5 by 4.5. My center fabric, which is 4 by 4. Okay. My top and sides are all 5.5 by 1.5. So they're going to go like that. And then when we sew them, we're going to put them face down. Face down like that. Then they're going to fold out like that. Okay. Then we have our applique in the center. And then the back of the mug rugs, and the same with these mini quilts, are the piece of fabric. The fabric is, well, what is the fabric? It is 5.5 by 6.5 folded to 5.5 by 3.25. So I took my fabric and I pressed it over like this. So I have 2 of them. Okay, just like that. And now each one of these measures 5.5 by 3.25, 3.25, okay? All right, so I have my no-show poly mesh hooped, and let's get started, okay? Okay, first it does the placement stitch, the placement stitch, and then you're going to take and center your batting right over that, okay? Just like that. Okay, and then you're going to tack it down. Okay, it tacked the batting down, and it also did the placement stitch for your center fabric. Now I'm just going to take my piece of fabric and center it right over there, and I'm going to tack it down, and then it's going to go ahead and do the stipple. Okay, now depending on the design, sometimes it will do the border before it does the center of the design. However, on this one, it had to do the center design first because the border covers his raw arm, okay? So, of course, the mug rug's going to be the same. Now, I believe on the other ornament one, it may have did the edges first and then the applique in the center. However, regardless, as long as you follow your PDF, the steps are going to be the same as how you do your placement, tack down, fold over. That's all the same, okay? So now we're going to do our placement stitch for the applique. Okay, it's done the placement. I'm going to cover it with my vinyl face up, and now I'm going to tack it down. Okay, as you can see, it's tacked the vinyl down. Now I'm just going to trim it. So I want to trim it before it does the next steps. Okay, it's trimmed. I'm going to put it back in, and it's going to tack it, or it's going to do the ornament topper. Okay, so it's did my design, all the stitching. Now it's did a placement stitch at the top and a placement stitch at the bottom for my border. So I'm going to take my fabric and I'm going to put it face down over the placement stitch about 1/4 inch, okay? Making sure both sides overhang. And then the top one, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do it just above about 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to tack it down, okay? Okay, it's tacked it down. Now I'm going to fold these up like this. And I'm going to get my tape. Depending on what size hoop, sometimes they stay up. So I'm just going to tape this up and out of the way. Just do the very edge that way, because it'll do the tack down right about where that line is. Okay, so we're going to do that. Tape it, put it back in the machine, and tack it down. Then it will do the placement for both the side ones, okay? Be right back. Okay, it's tacked them down, and it's did the placement for the sides. Now I'm going to rob Peter to pay Paul here, maybe. Okay, and I'm going to take my fabric pieces, and I'm going to just 1/4 of an inch over hang the placement stitch. And the same with this, about 1/4 of an inch over this one. I'm going to tack them down and be right back, okay? Okay, so it's tacked them down. Now I'm going to finger press it out. I'm going to take those little bits of tape and tape the edge over here down. Okay, and I'm going to do the same over here. Okay, now I'm going to send it and tack it down. Okay, be right back. Okay, even though this is a mug rug, I'm just going to show you real quick for the in the hoop mini quilts. You know, for the tabs where I say it's like 2.5 by a certain length folded in half. When you put your hanger, I line my edge, my folded edge, with this. That gives me a straight edge, and I know my hanger is going to be straight. Okay, so that's a good way of mark for you for the mini quilts, okay? So now it's tacked on the sides. And now we're going to put our backing on. Okay, and once again, these are 5.5 by 6.5, folded in half to 5.5 to 3 2/4 or 3 1/4. So if you get in the habit of doing the top first, you're just going to overhang it about 1/4 of an inch. If you do the top first, if you get in the habit of that, when you hang your mini quilts, the top is going to be overlapping the bottom, so it won't stick out and things can't fall in. Okay, so but you have to put the top on first. So if you put the top on, and then your fold is in the middle, then take your other piece, fold to the center, overhang about 1/4 of an inch or so, overlap those, put them in the machine, it'll do the tack down. Okay, now it's all done. We're just going to pop it out of the hoop, and I'm going to go trim the edges, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've trimmed it and cut my corners. So now I'll turn the top out, you know, this side, right side out first. Use your fingers or what have you to get it nice. And if you can't get the corners, I use a paintbrush handle. Push that out, and then I do the same with the other end. Okay, I'm going to turn it over, and I push the same thing. Oh, look at that. My paintbrush just fell apart. Good thing I don't paint with it, right? Okay, and there you go. See, Linda, it wasn't that difficult after all, now was it? Okay, thank you.